The 100 guys versus gorilla debate has taken the internet by storm over the last week, and while I've seen some decent takes, I've seen my fair share of terrible ones, mostly coming from people who've never fought a day in their life. We can ignore those scrubs. In reality, a fight between 100 men without weapons and a gorilla isn't even close. Let me explain. First, we'll break both fighters down. In the red corner, we've got the silverback gorilla. Weighing in at 170 kilos, it measures 5 foot on all fours. Impressive feats include swinging from branches, lifting 800 kilograms of dead weight, and biting with a force of 13,000 psi, the same as a polar bear. In the blue corner, we've got man, 100 of the buggers. They stand 5 foot 7 inches tall and weigh in at around 78 kilograms. Impressive feats include venturing into space, the creation of the internet, and the creation of the rice cooker. Perfect rice every time. The only category in which the gorilla has man beat is strength, yet the combined strength of 100 men easily surpasses a single gorilla. And that's not to speak of strategy, teamwork, and the fact that most men fancy themselves a street fighter. 100 men make it look easy. They might not even have to fight in the typical sense. They can just use their superior intellect to take the beast down. It's simple, really. They send out the bravest man to give the gorilla a banana as a peace offering. But little does it know, they rammed a Carolina Reaper chili pepper inside.
Oh no!
As it clutches at its throat for relief, the humans move in. Win guaranteed. But let's assume for a second the gorilla sees through the ploy. To understand how the fight will go down, we have to consider the mental side of the fight. As gorillas are 4 to 6 times stronger than humans, there's no escaping the fact that the first few guys are getting ragdolled. This wouldn't exactly do wonders for team morale, and lots of people seem to think that most of the men would turn tail and run. But this is a fight to the death, and I'd like to introduce the gorilla to a little thing called the indomitable human spirit. Besides, most people seem to be ignoring the fear instilled in the gorilla. Imagine 100 bloodthirsty cats descending on you. Pretty terrifying, huh? And people vastly overestimate the grit of a gorilla. These losers have fled at the sight of a single goose in the past. The gorilla is losing the mental game of this fight every single time. They're running away faster than I run from my responsibilities. And unlucky for the gorilla, they can't outrun humans as our endurance is far superior. So ultimately, it will be forced to fight. I have 2 strategies in mind to take the beast down. Both are guaranteed wins, but which will be more effective remains to be seen. For the first, 5 of the guys who are liked the least are voted off weakest link style. These are the frontrunners who will tank the initial hits. Their sacrifices will be remembered. Behind them are 2 teams. The first targets the back legs, holding the gorilla in place, while the other team targets the upper body, collectively pushing it to get the gorilla onto its back. Once it's down, the fight is pretty much done. You see, power comes from the legs, and by grounding the gorilla, we take away its strongest weapon. We can then just chuck as many people as we can fit onto each limb to lock it into place. But what about the rest of the army, you ask? That's right, they're on tickle duty. Nothing more humiliating than being tickled to death. Right, strategy 2. This one is a little less tactical. Remember those times as a kid when you would dogpile as many people as you could at the back of the bus? Well, your training should come in handy here. The idea is to just dogpile the fool. Doesn't matter how strong the gorilla is if it has a tower of humans lying on it. It's going to be immobilized and struggle to breathe. If the crushing weight doesn't kill it, the people stamping on its stuck-out head will. As you can see from these 2 strategies, 100 people walk through a gorilla without any real difficulty. The better question is just how many humans would it take to get the job done? In my expert opinion, having pondered human versus animal warfare in several videos, check them out in the description, I estimate 20 to 30 people should be enough. Now I know some of you are shaking your head and calling me names, but just hear me out. We know gorillas are absolute units and super strong. They weigh 170 kilos for crying out loud. This means they pack a serious punch. But imagine moving that 170 kilo frame around.
Bruh.
Hard enough moving your fat ass off the couch, right? Sorry, I had to get one back at you there. My point is that gorillas have that McGregor gas tank. They'll have no trouble demolishing the first few guys, but as soon as they tire and their lactic acid builds up, there's not a great deal they can do. In a one-on-one fight, their fierce bites will be a huge asset, but against a group, it doesn't really offer much. Besides, humans are harder to kill than you think. I tried with my ex. Wriggly woman, that one. In all honesty, I'm not confident that the first wave of men would die. Say 4 attacks simultaneously. The gorilla will probably just flail around and spin to prevent taking too much damage. Of course, the first few guys are going to sustain some serious injuries like broken bones, maybe a collapsed lung, but they might not die. I should note though that as far as I'm concerned, this puts them out of the fight. I don't care how easy MMA fighters make it look. David from IT ain't doing anything other than shouting words of encouragement with his arm bent the wrong way round. But he's done his job. He's made the gorilla tired. Say the first 5 are taken out of commish. The remaining 15 could be enough to end the gorilla. If not, 25 should suffice. Now, if we push this to the extreme, we could defeat the animal with as little as 10 people. I reckon 10 Eddie Halls would emerge victorious, and in doing so, get some retribution against the gorilla for beating their deadlift record. Did you learn nothing from Harambe, silly gorilla? That'll teach you for challenging the might of man.
I didn't do anything. You were the one who wanted to fight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.